If you don't kill your old self, it will kill you and your dreams in the process. Kill or be killed. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but hear me out. If you want to live a new and better life, you must die to your old self. Otherwise, this old self will stop at nothing to kill you. Because your old identity, the person that you've been up until now, is the cause of your current reality. The reality that you're probably trying to escape, the reality that you probably don't want to repeat, and the reality that's keeping you stuck and frustrated. And here's the thing, the old version of you sees your growth as a literal threat to its survival. So it will sabotage you, keep you playing small, and hold you back from everything that you want in life. Because in order for you to get what you want in life, this old self has to die. If you think about it, what is this old self stopping you from getting? And the truth is, every single thing you want out of life. Hey family, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Chris. I made my first million in business by the time I was 25, and now I'm documenting what it really takes to build $1 million a year business doing what you love, manifest your dream life, and become the high income, high confidence, high performing, and high vibration version of yourself. So if you're ready to stop playing small and you want to start winning at the level you know you're capable of, be sure to subscribe. So to kick things off, here's a quote from Les Brown that completely changed my perspective on what we're talking about today. He said, in order to do something you've never done, you've got to be someone you've never been. So think about that for a second. If you want different results, you need to become a different person. But your old self, your current identity, is literally programmed to keep you exactly where you are. And this identity is the cause of your past and your current reality. Again, the reality that you probably aren't wanting to repeat, the reality that you are probably trying to actively escape right now or move away from, because you, my friend, you want more. And that's okay. In fact, that is completely normal. It would be abnormal not to want more out of life, out of yourself. You see, the infinite spiritual being that you are has one goal and one mode: expansion and fuller expression. In other words, to be, do, and have more. It's not wrong to want more. In fact, it's wrong not to, and you'd be lying to yourself if you said, I don't want more. You would be fighting against your very own nature. And this isn't about being greedy, but about recognizing that you have no limits other than the ones that you place on yourself. And your old self, the one that would kill you to stay alive, sees you being, doing, or having more as its greatest threat. But the liberating truth that I want you to hear very loud and clear is this. This old self isn't even you. It's a mental construct you've adopted. It's a mask that you're wearing. It's a character that you're playing. But you often forget this. You aren't the mental construct. You are the one who adopted that construct. You aren't the mask that you wear. You are the one wearing the mask. And lastly, you are not the character that you play as right now. You are the one playing as that character. And in order for you to get where you want to go in life and work and everything in between, you've got to kill the old self. Otherwise, it will kill you and your dreams in the process. So you have a simple choice to make: kill or be killed. If you don't, it will hold you back, keep you playing small, and sabotage your every step forward that you're trying to make. But if you do kill this old self, you will be, do, and have everything you've ever wanted, and you will free yourself from a prison you didn't even know you were in. What do you choose? Unfortunately, I think most people live a life that feels like treading on water, just trying to keep their head above water. Their life is a story of struggle and survival, barely coping with the amount of overwhelming tasks, responsibilities, stress, and problems they have. They live constantly in a fear and scarcity-based consciousness that negatively colors how they see themselves, other people, and the world at large. But I don't want that for you, and I hope you don't want that for you. Because what these people don't realize is that they are really experiencing themselves. Because the universe operates on laws, and it doesn't make mistakes. Life only gives you what you give yourself first. Your reality, in its every single detail, is simply, I'm going to draw this little stick figure in a mirror, a reflection of you. They're both you. And unfortunately, you can't reach through a mirror and change your reflection, because what you see in that mirror is you. And if you want the reflection to change, the only thing you can change is yourself. But until you do this inner work, don't be mad when you look in the mirror and see the same old reflection staring you back. And this is where most people go wrong. They live their entire lives trying to change the reflection in the mirror, the external circumstances, while keeping the same internal identity that created those circumstances in the first place. That's like expecting different results and doing the same thing, which, if you haven't heard, that's insanity. It's stupid. But before you kill your old self, there are some important things that you need to know about this old self, because this thing is sneaky as hell, and it has specific tactics to keep you trapped. First, your old self is an attention seeker. So to represent your old self being an attention seeker, I'm just going to draw this little stick figure, and I'll draw some like eyeballs. So you can see there's like a little eyeball. I'm going to draw energy coming towards it, and I'm going to draw this little like pouty face on this little attention seeking old self. So because this old self is an attention seeker, it will do anything, and I'm talking anything, to control your focus and attention, because it knows that where attention goes, energy flows, and it needs your energy to survive. So it will use events, circumstances, results you get, or people around you to pull you back into its clutches. So if you got poor results in your work, guess what? Your old self is feeding off that stress. Relationship problems? Well, it's a good thing your old self loves chaos. Financial struggles? Well, your old self thrives in scarcity. Now, second thing, your old self is an addict to suffering. So to represent suffering, just going to draw a big old frowny face. This old self was formed during your darkest moments, and it craves your pain. So when you feel pain, sadness, frustration, irritation, annoyance, defeat, this old self becomes stronger. So it will trigger you on purpose just to stay in control. And the third thing, your old self is fear-based. So to represent fear-based, draw another stick figure. And this stick figure has its hands over its eyes, because this old self knows that you changing or improving your reality or yourself is a threat to its survival. So what does it do? It's going to cause you to self-sabotage right before big breakthroughs, hesitate when opportunities arise, avoid taking necessary risks, or plain old quit when things get hard. So it keeps you fear-based because it knows if you're afraid of progress or change, then you will be stuck in your own way, and this old self will survive. And the last thing, your old self is reactive. So to represent reactivity, I'm going to draw another face, and this one's going to be all angry. This old self is addicted to chaos, and it wants to keep you in a vicious cycle of adversity. So it's going to force you to attract situations that make you feel like a victim to the world or to other people or to even yourself when you get in your own way, for example. It wants you to react and be a victim so that you have no space to think clearly, act bravely, or become aware of this old self that's tripping you up. If you are reactive and unconscious, it knows that you will not evolve into the new version of yourself, which means it will stay alive. So as you can see, this old self is always present, and it's doing whatever it takes to kill the new you and all of your dreams. But you can fight back, and I'm going to tell you how. So over here, here's the key that changes everything for you. In each moment, you are either acting as your old self. So let's draw this old self again. Stick figures are my favorite. The frowny face old self, or your new self. And same thing, stick figure. And this one's a happy stick figure. Think of Bob Ross, happy little trees, unhappy old self, super happy new self. So again, in each moment, you are either acting as your old self or this new self. And the way that I define your old self is your lower self. What I want you to remember is that acting from your old or lower self will always result in you being stuck in your undesired reality, while your new self, or in other words, your ideal self, is your higher self. And acting from this new ideal higher self will always result in you moving towards and manifesting your desired reality. Why? Because you don't react to reality, contrary to popular belief. Reality reacts to you. And by the way, if you'd like to dive more into this identity shifting work, I've got a couple things in the description you should check out. Number one, a free course and community where you can do a free 30-day money magnet meditation challenge, as well as connect with other people interested in these topics and learn more about them. Also, if you are an entrepreneur, creator, or sales professional, I will help you to stop self-sabotage and scale your income into the $10,000 to $100,000 plus a month range. You can learn more about that in the description. At the very least, though, join the free community. I'll see you inside. So we talked about this old non-ideal self, this new ideal self, otherwise known as the lower self, higher self, yeah. And the only real way to kill this old lower self and become your ideal higher self is awareness. When you become aware, you can choose which identity that you're operating from. So let me put this more clearly. You can choose to imagine, think, feel, and act in alignment with your higher self, not your lower self. And to help you do that, I'm going to teach you 3 questions that have changed everything for me. How this works is you're basically just going to ask yourself these questions throughout the day. What would my higher self think about this thing? What would my higher self feel right now or about this thing? And lastly, what would my higher self do right now or about this thing? It's kind of like that what would Jesus do question, except you're tapping into your own divinity, into your own infinite divine self in the process. And if you can keep those questions at the top of your mind while you're experiencing your current conditions or reality, you will inevitably alter those conditions and your reality for the better. Because again, reality is reacting to you. And your desired reality, the results you'd like, the money you'd like to make, the life you'd like to live, and the person you'd like to become, begin with you stepping into this higher self. And when your old lower self tries to pull you back into the drama, into its clutches, ask the questions. When your old self wants you to react from fear, ask the questions. When your old self wants you to stay comfortable, ask the questions. Because here is what you need to understand and remember from today's video. You are not your old self. Who you really are is so far beyond the mental constructs, masks, or characters that you've been playing, or any of the other bullshit self-imposed prisons that you've trapped yourself in. You are the awareness behind all of those things. You are the consciousness that can observe your thoughts, emotions, and patterns. And when you remember that, when you wake up to the truth, you become the creator, not the helpless observer of yourself and your reality. And I'm going to tell you something crazy. The secrets of reality have always been hidden in plain sight. It's like the Kabbalion says, the lips of wisdom are sealed except to those with ears of understanding, or something along those lines. So I quickly just want to give you some ideas that are worth thinking about for the rest of your life that speak to and validate the topic of this video. In Neville Goddard's book, Feeling is the Secret, he breaks down a lot of different theological and philosophical references that back up what I've shared today that I want to share with you. And these ideas have been completely misunderstood by the masses. But today, my friend, you are the lucky one that's going to understand the deeper truth. So in his book, he says, it is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. And my, version of that is what is inside of you will always reflect on the outside of you. In his book as well, he quotes Hermes Trismegistus, as within, so below, which is the second of the 7 principles of Hermetic philosophy. And to put that simply, we as human beings are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So the microcosm is like mini universe in our personal reality, whereas macrocosm is the big universe and the bigger reality. In his book, he says, a man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. That's John 3:27, I believe. Yeah, John 3:27. And how I would reiterate that is you can only receive from the world what you give yourself internally. Because if you study this theology or this philosophy, you probably have an interesting question to answer. Where is heaven? Well, the kingdom of heaven is within you, which comes from Luke 17:21. Nothing comes from without, all things come from within, from the subconscious. It is impossible for you to see other than the contents of your consciousness. Your world in its every detail is simply your consciousness objectified. So to simplify that, using your imagination, thoughts, and feelings, which is your inner world, you can connect to the infinite power within you and therefore create and influence your outer world. In his book, he also says, objective states bear witness of subconscious impressions. A change of impression results in a change of expression. So what he's saying is the things that we hold in our mind, we will eventually hold in our hand. Other words, in reality. A change of what we place into our subconscious mind results in a change of our reality. So let's just cut to the chase. The key takeaway from today's video is this. What is inside of you will always reflect on the outside of you. Your world, in its every detail, is your consciousness objectified. It is a complete reflection of your identity. So now you have a choice. Kill or be killed. Kill your old self, the identity that has all the limiting beliefs, the fear-based patterns, the victim mentality, the scarcity consciousness that came with it, or let it kill your dreams, your potential, your future, and your happiness. There is no middle ground here. Your old self and your new life cannot coexist. One has to die for the other to live. Remember, the infinite spiritual being that you are has one goal: expansion and fuller expression. To be, do, and have more. So just to say that again, it is not wrong to want more. It's wrong not to. You would be fighting against your very own nature otherwise. And your old self sees this expansion and expression as a threat. But remember that you are not your old self. You are the awareness that can choose moment by moment between which version of yourself you'd like to embody. Choose your higher self. Choose growth. Choose your dreams. Choose to be the badass creator that God intended you to be, not the victim and prisoner to himself or to herself. Kill the old you before it kills everything you want to become or do or have in the process. Be sure to comment your takeaways down below and subscribe if you found this video valuable. Welcome to the family if you're new here, my friend. And by the way, again, you can join my free community on identity shifting and manifestation in the description. Or if you're an entrepreneur, creator, or sales professional, again, I will help you to stop self-sabotage and scale your income into the $10,000 to $100,000 plus a month range using identity shifting. You can learn more about that in the description. At the time of recording this, there's a crazy deal going on, so I highly suggest you check it out. Your dreams are only waiting for the new you to show up. And as soon as you do that, guess what? They're yours. All right, family, much love. I'll see you in the next one.